Welcome to Mastering the Math of Business with Lauren Young. There are probably millions of books written on the topic that we're going to discuss today, but what I want to do that's different is I want to show you the importance of this topic through the numbers. In other words, how do you know when you're fulfilling the role of management effectively in your business and when are you not? And it really comes down to the fact that there are four primary things that occur in business. In other words, management's job is to get work, do work, enable work, and then facilitate the business. And this fourth one is typically owned 100% by the owners of the business or the senior executive team. But the first three are owned by different individuals and groups of managers who are focused on sales, operations, finance, and administration. So let's appreciate this just a little bit more. Appreciate it from the standpoint that those who have really good management talent and processes are able to manage their businesses such that they're always generating a cash surplus. In other words, the money they're spending to generate sales, deliver those sales, and support those sales is more than it's costing them to do it. That's a business that's got solid management, people, and teams in place. Those that struggle to do this, particularly those that have many months where they're operating with a cash deficit, in other words, they're spending more to get sales and deliver those sales than they are in the sales themselves. Those are the ones that have a management team in place that isn't delivering what needs to get delivered. It's that black and white. Either you have a surplus of cash or you don't. And the way I like to think about this is I like to think about it from the standpoint of you've got employees. Employees represent the talent in the business. And then you couple the employees with the business assets of the business that are reported on the balance sheet. And those two asset bases are primarily focused on generating sales and doing it at a profit. And all of this other stuff in between here on the P&L statement is a reflection of management actions and decisions. And so let's look at an actual business. And we're going to look at it from the perspective of an annual view. The point is, this is a business that's management team really gelled, came together, and produced some remarkable results. The point is, they got the work, they did the work, and they enabled the work such that they were able to generate both profits and a healthier cash reserve as a result of their efforts. And this really comes down to, can you generate the sales and can you convert those sales into profits? So let's look at the actual numbers involved. So here, what you really need to know is you need to know these 6 numbers. They come straight off the P&L statement and they're reflective of your net sales. That's what you brought in. That's not your gross sales, that's your net sales. Then you take away your direct costs, that gets you your gross profit, subtract out your overhead, or often referred to as SG&A, which is selling, general, and administrative expenses. That gets you your operating income. Then you take away those non-operating costs that exist to facilitate the business as a whole, such as interest, taxes, depreciation, those expenses. I also like to throw in to this category of non-operating is what the owner pays themselves. In fact, just as a side note, one of the things that I can always spot on a business that is doing well and is healthy is how consistent is the owner taking a paycheck out of the business. That's if it's a working owner. In other words, they're part of the business. The results of all of this is then your net income. So the first thing you want to do is you want to get a sense of how are these results relative to plan. So you start out the year and this is planned. So you want these results to be 100% of plan. In this case, the business beat their sales plan and they came in lower on their operating costs, their overhead costs, and their non-operating costs. That led to this percentages. And these are always the first set of calculations you want to do. You want to look at the numbers as a percent of sales. And you do that so that you can appreciate, without all the noise of the numbers, how did we do percentage-wise? And I always look at percents as a percent of a dollar or cents on a dollar. So, for example, in this case, they planned on capturing 32 cents out of every dollar, and they ended up capturing 38 cents out of every dollar in gross profit. And because they came in better on operating income because their overhead was lower and their gross profit was higher, that translated into a 25% net income. Put another way, out of every dollar they sold, they spent 75 cents to convert that dollar into 25 cents worth of net income or bottom line profit. Huge success. And that's a function of a strong management team. So I also like to look at it in terms of just raw dollars, because raw dollars help you put an order of magnitude or an order of significance to the numbers. It's one thing to see the movement in the percents. It's another thing to see the actual dollar movements. And so you can see that the bulk of what drove this improvement is they did really well on their sales plan. And then they managed those costs down, and all of that translated into, you can see it right here, $1.1 million more in bottom line profit than what they planned to do. That's management success. So the call to action associated with this video is really about taking your results and putting them into black and white. In other words, did management's actions and decisions generate a cash surplus or not? Yes or no? That's black and white. If that's something that you're struggling with, if you can't look at your business results and make it a black and white, we did it or we didn't do it view, then you've got shades of gray that are mucking you up and making life more difficult than they need to be. Go to business-cpr.com/S3 and you'll be able to download some management tips around 5 areas that if you begin to know better today, you will reduce the shades of gray in your business that are holding you back from making more money tomorrow. Thanks again for tuning in to this edition of Mastering the Math of Business with Lauren Young. I hope by looking at the role of management through the numbers, you can get an appreciation of where things can be improved to generate better results from the assets of the business, both your employees, the people in it, and the business assets, reflected in both current and fixed assets on your balance sheet. As with all videos, I join the chorus in inviting you to comment and offer insights and suggestions. I welcome any topic that you might want to see expressed in the numbers, and I'll do that for you. Likes are always appreciated, as well as subscriptions. Subscribe to this channel and you'll be exposed to more of this type of thinking. Again, thank you for tuning in. Look forward to joining you again soon. Goodbye.